Welcome, everyone, to episode 89.
89 dudes.
89 dudes, and we're like totally awesome here at the Crafty Boys podcast, where we like to drink beer and talk about it, and then talk about other crap that we think about. So, how's it going?
My back hurts.
This week it was my pick. The only reason I remembered that is because Dave told me on Monday, saying, "Dude, pick a beer," and I'm like, "I totally forgot." This week I went to the BC Liquor Store webpage. I thought, you know what? There's got to be a beer on here that we've not had that's everywhere. That was my major goal. It had to be everywhere.
So in other words, our 10 watchers can find it.
That's right.
10.
Actually, there's a lot of them out there. Actually, it's kind of funny because I was looking at the numbers, and then I thought about it this morning, going, I have mine. I wonder if we're going to have that problem where the beer vanishes overnight off of the website and disappears from stores. But no, Campbell River, Comox, Victoria, a couple of locations in Victoria, and like a bazillion locations here, each had 500 of them, kind of thing. So I figured that was a very safe bet that we would not mess this one up. Because we came pretty close last week, although we did pull it off.
We did.
And I was a little sad because we did talk about doing another root beer one. But the only root beer I could find was only available here. I couldn't find it anywhere else. And so I called Cascadia and Comox. Is it Comox or was it? No, it was Comox.
What one was that?
It's Comox.
And talked to them briefly. They said no, there had nothing root beer wise except for a wine. They had a wine that was apparently flavored like root beer, which to me sounds awful.
Yeah.
So there you go.
But I'd try it.
And after they didn't have any of the root beer stuff in there, I just gave up. I said, "Screw you, Victoria, in your face." How are you guys? How are you guys been? It's been a whole week since I've seen you. What's going on?
I have to admit, I'm not in the best mood tonight.
Oh, well, why not? What's going on? What happened?
Well, so we've gotten like a ton of snow here.
Same here. It's
in Victoria.
snowing.
I know
like
it's the same.
Right
it's
now.
the same all up and down the island. But anyway, I was at work today, and I stayed till the end of my shift. I went out to the bus stop. And it's like the streets are a freaking zoo. Nobody's moving anywhere. It's just bumper to bumper. And I look down the road. I could see all the way down the road. And it's just this huge line of cars. There's no buses in sight. And because I take the bus. I went to the bus stop, and there were some people at the bus stop. I'm like, well, have you been waiting long? And one of them was like, well, I've been here for 45 minutes. And this bus is supposed to come every 10 minutes. So, I was like, oh, okay. And I'm looking, the cars are not moving. There's no bus in sight. I'm like, okay, you know what? Screw this. I'm going to walk down Bay Street. So I'm at the Royal Jubilee Hospital, which is in Oak Bay. I live in Royal Oak. And I walk down Bay Street to Douglas. So I get down to Douglas, same deal down there, bumper to bumper, nobody's moving. So I thought, I'll walk along Douglas for a little while. And I passed by like maybe 10 buses. Like I was walking, I was going faster than the traffic.
Oh, dude.
I ended up, my shift ended at 4. I got home at 6. That
was a decent walk.
It was a decent walk. It was just unexpected. And
did you just take Douglas all the way down to
Uptown, and then Cary Road, and then Glanford, and home? But see, by the time I was halfway, I don't know if the snow or whatever had soaked through my jacket, or if I was just sweating a lot. But the inside of my jacket was like soaking wet, and it was starting to get cold. And
I would say I'd probably bet.
I was this close to resorting to cannibalism, but
you guys are dead.
I'm glad to hear you didn't actually give in to that, Alan. Glad to.
So are we gonna drink beer or what?
I'm ready to drink some beer. I don't know what the hell you guys are doing, but here we are. Just showing you the can because it comes in a can apparently. Whistler Brewing Co. Function Junction. Now Function Junction for those. It's a hoppy IPA apparently, or pale ale. Sorry. The Function Junction, which I just looked up before the show started, is actually an area of Whistler where there's lots of stores and stuff. So it's basically Function Junction is a tourist trap. So there you go. That's the history of the beer. It's a pale ale.
Do we have an IBU rating on it?
International Beer Unit rating. I don't know, Dave. That's your job.
Shit. I don't know.
An IBU rating of 1,045. Oh no, wait, that's the address. 4.8 milliliters. 4.8 liters. See, that's it. I'm going home. Oh wait, I am home. 4.8% on the tomato meter for this beer.
I'm not seeing one.
Nothing. No, I see nothing.
I'm on Beer Advocate and I don't see an IBU rating, which is kind of interesting if for a hoppy, pale ale. I mean, if something's going to be advertised as hoppy, you expect an IBU rating, but whatever.
I'm good with it. I think that it's here we go. Here I'm diving in. Wow.
Pretty good.
I have a question. This beer is actually nice and hoppy. I like that. That's actually quite this.
Yeah.
This tastes almost as good as my homebrew.
So
now,
Shane, can you hold up your mug?
Yep.
So why is it that your guys' brew looks darker than mine?
I suspect lighting and camera.
Okay.
But I mean, I'm looking this way, but if I'm looking this direction through it, it's actually a different color.
Okay.
Than it is.
Even Dave's looks dark.
Question. Song lyrics. Rugged,
that looks
wild,
black.
And free. That looks black?
Well,
what?
Dave, hold up yours again. Are you sure you're drinking the same beer?
Dave, you're not drinking the right beer, man. Show us the bottle.
No.
Show us the can.
I'm not. It's actually different.
Odyssey. What the hell, dude? Odyssey Nitro
Porter. I couldn't get the other one.
Really? You suck, man. Okay, question. Song lyrics. Let me just get this out of my head right now. What song lyric of Rugged, Wild, and Free, where does that come from? Rugged, wild, and free. Come on.
I don't know.
No bells are going off, dude.
Yeah, none here.
All right.
Are you going to tell us?
I'm asking you.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a test or something.
No. I don't know. I'm trying to find this lyric because
Well, if it is, we failed miserably.
we totally did. Young, Wild, and Free. Maybe I'm mixing it up with a different song. Anyway, whatever.
Maybe.
I can't. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Not irrelevant in any way. Case. So, this beer overall, I think the hop rating on this is about 10.5. I think that it's got a really, for a pale ale, that's kind of a punch in the mouth.
This is kind of really good pale ale. I mean, this thing was on sale for $1.99. Normally, I think it was $2.20 or something like that for a 500 ml can. That's pretty good value. I mean, this is a good beer. This isn't some cheap brew.
I agree. I'm amazed actually at the quality of this one. Because this was a shot in the dark. This was completely, this could be awesome or it could be terrible. And you know what? Whistler Brewing Co. Well done. Well done on this one. Why is it not on your website? There's something wrong if it's not on your website. I'm a little disappointed, but that's okay.
It's apparently available year round too. It's not a seasonal. So
no. I thought it was a seasonal, but again,
according not according to Beer Advocate. A Beer Advocate says it's a year round.
Is it okay?
Selection.
So in other beer news, I actually wanted to talk about this, and I'm glad you brought this one up. Alan, what happened in Victoria the other night?
Okay, well, like I alluded to earlier, we've got Snowmageddon 2017 here. We have I think it's a couple of inches of snow, and
whoa,
we don't really know what to do with it. So I mean, we're here on the West Coast. We don't have snow plows. We don't have a ton of infrastructure to deal with this kind of snow.
Brooms here.
So this guy who is a farmer in central Saanich, which is a rural area of Victoria, has an old Zamboni that he bought from the government for $300 on his property. I've heard from a reliable source that he uses it as a manure spreader on his property. Anyway, so he decides he's going to clear the snow from in front of his place using the Zamboni. So he takes the Zamboni out onto the public streets and starts trying to clear the snow. But I guess somebody saw him and thought he was trying to turn the street into an ice skating rink and called the cops. So the cops pulled him over and gave him a nice little warning and said, hey, you can't drive your Zamboni on public streets.
Yeah, I mean, that totally makes sense. I actually have the one question I had that I haven't been able to find an answer to is, was he at all successful at clearing anything with a Zamboni? Because the last time I checked, a Zamboni, essentially the workings of a Zamboni is it has a scraper. It has hot water, which I guess is why he's using it for spreading a manure. And then brushes to, when the scraper goes through, the brushes are able to pick up or at least, break up the whatever comes off the ice surface.
Yeah.
To me, that would be making an ice rink in the street. But
my understanding was he was able to scrape off sort of the top layer of snow, but not get it all the way down to the pavement. So essentially, yes, that's if he had been allowed to continue, he would have turned the street into a skating rink, I'm sure.
Because the big thing is, I'm like, a couple of people and a long piece of plywood would have done the same job, I guess. But as heroic and well-meaning as this guy was, I think this guy was a couple cans short of a six-pack.
Well, I'm not willing to go that far. He was well-meaning. I don't know if he really thought it out too well.
Well, that's what I mean.
But the thing that gets me is that the people here in Victoria are going on about what a hero this guy is, and the police should have just left him alone. And I'm like, dude, do you know what a Zamboni does?
That's what I mean. That's not what a Zamboni does. I mean, it's like saying a car is not meant to push snow, like an average car, but the average car doesn't have a water system in it pouring water out of the back of it. It's just it's something kind of strange that it's. Of course, what street was this on? Where Tanneridge Place and Highway 17? I got to look that up because I'm kind of curious how far.
My understanding it was a rural road.
So okay, so he's out that he's like north of Beaver Lake of Bear Hill. So, well, well-meaning, awesome. Kind of surprised that he did that, but at the same time, kind of awesome. I mean, how can you fault the guy for trying to be helpful? It's like the other day, actually, here when it started snowing. I guess what on Saturday morning or whatever. The snow across the sidewalk in front of our building was just, it was like that thick, and it was turning to slush, and we were all thinking, "Yay, it's melting! It's going to go away." Although I just looked outside while you're telling your story, and it's coming down still. But the big thing was that the slush was so annoying that I thought, okay, well, it's 9 o'clock on Saturday morning. I'm going to go out, and there's a snow shovel in our garbage room for the building. So I just went out and started shoveling, and it was that wet, heavy snow. So it was kind of annoying. And then the next thing I know, I hear behind me some scraping, and I turn around, and one of the guys down the hall got a piece of plywood, and he was just pushing the snow that way. So it's it was a nice thing for people to do, but I didn't seek any sort of attention to it. I just did it because it was helpful. And then somebody else went outside, shoveled apparently, and this is only just, I didn't hear about this. It was just somebody else in the building said, "Hey, do you know that so and so and whatever was like doing that and taking credit for it?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And apparently he went and shoveled in front of the building next to us, and then took a picture of the entire sidewalk in front of our building, so the entire block, and claimed that he had shoveled the whole thing. So I thought that was kind of sad, kind of funny, but sad at the same time.
Well, he might have been just trying to have some shits and giggles with somebody too, right?
Could be.
I have no idea. I didn't really care, but it was just kind of amusing because they were like, you gotta go on Facebook and like defend yourself against him lying. And I'm just like, I'm not gonna do that. Who cares?
Maybe this guy has a picture of you on a dartboard, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get you, Burley." Yeah.
God, I hate that guy. I'm gonna kick his ass. I'm sorry. What did I do? I don't know what I did.
I had an interesting thing happen to me yesterday, which is vaguely related to this. And okay, so it was snowing here yesterday, most of the day. When I got into work, the parking lot, which is quite large, I should add, was covered in enough snow that you couldn't make out the lines. I'm sure you guys have experienced this before.
No.
So you just
explain it?
Never
pick a spot. You pick a spot beside another car, because then you're kind of figuring, okay, I'm more or less in line with shit here. So it was an 8-hour day for me. I get out of work, and there's this little slip of paper on my windshield. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Who would be out putting this kind of stuff on people's windshields? So I get out of my car again, and I grab it. And wouldn't you know it, it's this little pink slip.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, orange. It's a little orange slip. And it says ticket for parking violation, something like that, right? But then it goes on to say in this big chunk of text that takes up most of this little orange slip, if I actually had the power to charge you with this, I would do that, because and I'm paraphrasing wildly here, but basically you're a douchebag for taking up 2 spots, blah, blah, blah. And
you were taking up 2 spots?
Well, yeah. So I'm like, wow, somebody needs a fucking chill pill and get a blowjob at the same time, preferably.
Yeah, that jerk was taking up 2 spots.
Well, I think the understanding here is that Dave didn't know they were 2 spots when he parked there, because they were covered in snow, and then the snow melted over the course of his shift, And when he got out, his car sitting in 2 spots. And
thank you. Yes. So that was a nice end to it was actually a reasonable day up until that point, and I'm just like, holy fuck, buddy, get that stick out of your ass. And the parking lot is fucking huge. There was no reason to get his tits in a knot about this, because there would have been a million parking spots around there and no reason to get all fired up about this. So I just thought it was kind of amusing.
Were they handicap spots, Dave?
Go to that trouble. No, they were not. They were far enough away from the front doors that they were not handicapped fucking spots.
Okay.
So yeah, that was
were they young mother spots?
No.
Might have been. No?
We're not progressive.
Sure.
We're not progressive like that up here in the sticks.
Okay.
So if you're a young mother, we don't give a fuck. Just if you're handicapped, you know.
Oh, there goes our audience. Dave's made fun of people. You're gonna cause an outrage, sir. An outrage.
Hey, I'm not saying this is my way of thinking. You know, this is just sort of the general attitude.
Right. So I'm as I was saying before, I ended up walking most of the way home today. But when I got to the top of Glanford at Seven Oaks there, I had enough of walking. And I figured a bus had to come at some point. So I found a bus stop with a shelter, and I stood in there and I waited for a bus to come. And finally, at about maybe 5:45, a bus came that would go down Glanford. And so the bus is coming along. It's going very slowly. It doesn't pull into the little bus stop, which I didn't expect it to do. I expected it to stay on the main drag. I'm just standing there. And I'm just standing there. And then the bus driver starts honking the horn. And I'm like, okay, is he telling me that he wants me to go out to the bus? Now, at this point, my glasses are all fogged over. I've got moisture on them. I can't see very well. And so I step out onto the curb to get closer to the bus. And the bus driver opens the door and proceeds to yell at me, saying, do not step off the curb until the doors to the bus are open. I'm like,
oh,
all right. And
owned.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm sorry, I don't speak horn. I don't know what honk, 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 honk means. I thought it meant you wanted me to step off the curb to go to the bus. Not that you didn't want me to step off the curb to go to the bus. So anyway, I kind of looked at him and I'm like, dude, I'm here right now. I have just walked for the past hour and a half from Oak Bay. You are taking me on this bus now.
Seriously? You just went at him with that? Oh, wow.
Oh, I did. I had enough.
Man.
I can tell. That's kind of amazing, actually.
Did he come back at you, or?
No, I guess he had one of his bus groupies with him. You know the groupies that get on the bus. They're always
and they're hanging onto the pole right beside the driver.
Like, ooh, I'm besties with the bus driver. Yeah. So she was like, he just didn't want to hit you. I'm like, dude, he's 20 feet away. He's not going to hit me. I'm a big boy. I know how to handle myself around traffic. Thank you.
And besides, what kind of move is that to honk the fucking horn if you want somebody to stay away? Like,
well, I'm guessing he was giving me some kind of hand signals, which I couldn't see because my glasses were all fogged up.
What a nice man. That jerk.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. This is the bus driver that I have every day coming home.
So you actually have to deal with this guy again. Oh, great.
So yeah, I got to deal with this guy every day. So like, how's that gonna go?
That's where you just decide to throw your hands in the air and get naked.
I'm kind of hoping that maybe he won't recognize me, because usually he would pick me up downtown, and I wouldn't be wearing so much, right? Like I was pretty bulked up there, and I'm thinking
it's worth a try to, like, you know,
for safety's sake, you might just want to let everything grow out there, Alan.
But maybe what I'll do,
is
when I see him tomorrow and he picks me up downtown, I'm just gonna get right in his face and say, "Look, dude,
yeah, man,
I don't want any more of your bullshit."
Because I'm gonna get outside and I'm gonna tip this over in rage.
Pick up this bus and tip it
totally over. Just you know, you bad man. You bad man.
I mean, you could tell he was having a bad day, right? I mean, he was stressed out. He'd been driving a bus in like really crappy conditions all day.
And people were probably being dinks.
Maybe.
Because, of course, the buses are running late and everybody's all pissed off because the buses are late. And the poor bus driver's got nothing to do with it because traffic is moving slower than a fucking snail in January. And yeah.
Bunch of dicks. Yeah.
Bag of dicks.
Bag of dicks. So I'm trying to think of see, now you guys have had two really good stories about the snow. I can't think of any.
Well, you had a good one too. About how some guy, took the, stole your thunder about clearing.
Yeah.
I know, but you got to yell at somebody. I just didn't care. You're like, yeah, screw this guy, you dude. And Dave was like, yeah, you sucker with your parking ticket bullshit. I'm trying to think of something I haven't. I can't. I went to the library. I carried books through the snow. Wow, I'm really lame. My story is not as good.
Yeah.
I'm just going to drink beer.
All right. Sounds good.
Tears. Get in there.
I'm almost done my beer.
So I showed some people in the building the three tap, what's it called? I can't remember now. The thing we talked about the other week with you take growlers, put them in upside down, they get pressurized, and all of them said that was a stupid idea. They would never spend $300 or more on this device. If you really wanted to do that, you could take your $300 and buy a full keg of beer a few times over. So what did you think about that? You and I and Dave, we all thought it was a good idea. But overall, I don't know. I had some pretty negative commentary about that device. So which I can't remember the name to.
I guess it depends. I mean, if you're satisfied spending the $300 to buy a few kegs, that will run out in, whatever amount of time. Or you've got this unit that you're spending, $300+ on that you can use continually, forever. And it's almost like a prestige thing. It's not a value thing. It's a prestige thing. If you've got like a man cave and you've got the guys over all the time, it's so cool to have like this refrigerated, little tap thing where you can get all different kinds of beers, like 3 different kinds of beers. I mean, that thing, I don't know, it's a conversation starter, right? It's a prestige thing.
I just wanted a simple conversation starter, man. No, I agree.
Well, it's like
I thought
my
about it.
growler. It's like my growler that I have that's insulated. It's Stanley. It's in Hammertone green. Whenever it's just a growler. It's no better than your regular glass growler. But this growler here, anytime I go to get it filled up, there's some other guy that's there that's asking me questions about it. So we start a conversation and everything, and it's kind of cool. There's a social aspect that goes with it.
Well, I don't know. I kind of rethought it because I mean, granted, yeah. I mean, what you're saying essentially is what I'm kind of thinking was it has a cool factor to it, but overall the practicality, is it a device that would add value to the whole bar area? Kinda. I don't know, but overall, yeah. I don't know. I kind of poo-pooed the whole thing after that conversation, and I didn't want to. That was the big thing. Is I really, 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 really wanted this cool thing to not be less cool. I wanted it to be amazing. But yeah, I mean, I hope they do well. I really think it'd be cool to do well. But I really just am not totally awesome with the practicality side. By the way, we lost Dave.
We did.
He texted me. He lost power. For about 5 seconds. The power came back on, and of course his computer shut off. So he might come back. We hope.
All right.
I was just actually wondering about other beer news because there was something that I saw very briefly the other day. Where is it here? Let's see if I did bookmark it. Yeah, here we go. 5,000-year-old beer. I'm going to put the article in the back channel here. Now, this is the thing. Would you drink? Here's the title of the article. Would you drink spit beer that you have to chew yourself, or a Chinese brew that looks like porridge? So these are apparently 5,000-year-old recipes that have been put together, or try to recreate them. And this is at Stanford University, where these people are trying to recreate these beers that are a lot of them are vegetable root based, but does require you to chew and spit the stuff you chew into a boiling pot to ferment. What do you think? And it also apparently one of them stinks of cheese.
Yeah,
so,
I'm just looking at this.
So
I don't think I would.
I did check this out a little bit ago. Not too wild about this plan.
Oh.
Dave,
yes.
Would you recreate 5,000-year-old beer recipes or alcohol recipes that you part of the process is you have to chew it and spit it back into a pot where you're boiling it up?
Man,
nope.
Son of a bitch. Fucking power.
Power went out again?
No. No, I could see my light flickering a bit again.
Actually, mine is too.
We might be getting some snow and stuff.
Again.
Snowmageddon.
Well, I think we've got freezing rain happening right now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Anyway, Dave, answer the question.
Would you partake in this beer?
Don't wait for the translation. Answer me now.
I come down. I come down firmly on the side of maybe.
Maybe, okay.
So, okay, hang on. I got to look at this article because I haven't looked at it yet. So, 5,000-year-old beer. So, I take it that spit beer that you chew yourself and stinks of cheese. Oh, Chinese beer looks like porridge. Wow. All right then.
Because I mean, the reason I like this article is that it really comes down to, like, right now we're used to beer that looks like this.
Right.
You know, it's reasonably clear. It has a certain sort of common taste between the beers. But, you know, 5,000 years ago, I don't recall there being refrigerated rooms where you could do beer. I don't recall there being places where you could actually control the fermentation process much beyond, well, it's doing something. I don't know what. It's sunny out. Do you want to drink some of this crap? You know, like that kind of thing, where a lot of the beer, especially for home brewing, is very different from the beer that you get at the store, because there is this lack of control component that some people say, oh my God, that's dangerous. Well, no, not really. You're making beer. You're not like making cheese. But, you know, 5,000 years ago, alcohol was still around. People still made it, even if it was very rudimentary, obviously. But, you know, I mean, you think about the beer recipes that have been discovered or found in like Egyptian tombs and things. There's also that beer that people were like submerging in water during the fermentation process, like all kinds of weird stuff. But ultimately, boil it all down, it's the same thing. This process is almost identical. You know, the ingredients will be slightly different. There's some yeast doing their magic, but, you know, the external sort of thing with like natural yeasts versus ones that are being cultivated like we have these days. So, I mean, there's still brewers that there's a brewer actually here in town that I've met who when he did a motorcycle trip a few years ago in Europe, and while he was driving around, he actually took a face cloth and he soaked it in water, and then he hung it off the back of his bike, drove, you know, from day to day on his trip, and he would just let this thing flutter in the breeze because he wanted to collect as much natural yeast out of the air as he could. So, you know, he was, you know, doing that and actually was very successful with the yeast. He was able to cultivate it and use it over and over again. So, you know, that's the kind of yeast that I think a while ago, sometime last year, we were talking about the beer with the big vats that had the open top. And I've forgotten what beer that was, but the brewery was relying on the yeast in the air to do the magic, not the actual pitching yeast into it. So, you know, there's cool stuff like that going on. And as gross as this beer sounds, especially at the very bottom where it says alcohol can be made from grass, fruit, trees, and even milk. You know, we're kind of, well, we've refined the process, but I don't know. Drinking cheese might be okay.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I'm dry.
Well, if you're dry, then our show is done.
Fuck it. Shut it down.
This is all Dave's fault. Dave lost power. But anyway, thank you everyone for watching. Brew your own beer. Let us know what it is, and we'll spit it out. Wow. On that note, goodbye everyone. See you guys next week.